Yo, how's it going?
How's it going?
So, I wanted to talk about a primary topic that exists now, which is, why people actually don't feel sick, but they don't feel healthier either. This is something that, is honestly a big gaping hole.
I think it's stress.
Stress?
Stress. A lot of people disregard stress because when you think of stress, it's not as detrimental as, let's say, breaking a finger or getting sick, right? A lot of people can just walk through stress, right? Or a lot of people can live through stress.
They have a high stress.
High stress tolerance.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I think that most people aren't sick, most people are stressed. And that's because of the fact that just in this economy, you got to work more because your bills are higher and a lot of other things too, especially a lot of other things. But I think the reason being is because the fact that inflation is so high that it just creates the fact that people got to work more. I think that's the biggest reason. But do you think that people who are stressed are unhappy maybe?
Potentially.
Can you expand on that?
I think with the assistance of social media and how easy dopamine is to access, people will find some relief in stress. However,
They find relief.
yes.
But what I wanted to get at right there was the fact that with social media, a lot of people look at other people or others parts of the world and say, "Damn, I'm grateful for where I am in life." Or some people might say, "I low-key want to be like them."
Oh, 100%.
So that creates stress on themselves. Like I want to be that rich, so they try to work harder, which puts more stress on them, right? Or someone who has a really happy, healthy family, you're like, oh, that puts stress on me to build a happy, healthy family. So I think stress can come from social media, social pressures, but other ones as well, like health, health stress. Like I'm stressed about what's going on. Like, yo, well, why do I feel tired every time I wake up from an 8 hour sleep? Why do I still feel tired? Stress comes from there, you know?
Stress can come from there. I 100% agree. And to go back on your topic of comparing themselves with other people, I think a big part of stress, especially in these younger years, 18 to 25, people are trying to live someone else's perfect life. Does that make sense? Not to get too philosophical.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think it's completely true. I think that the lifestyle load of like how much people sleep, the food quality that they eat, how much time they're on their screens, and how often they do that. I think all that, and there's probably so much more. But I think all that combined comes down to habits, you know, and
Habits are hard to break.
habits are hard to break. If you've been doing them for 15 years, 20 years, 35 years, how long has it ever been? It's impossible to break sometimes if you're much older, it's impossible to break a routine, right? For example, let's bring up this one study that from from PubMD, this one study that I listened to. Let's say for 20 years of your life, you've been brushing your teeth with your right hand, right? Brush, 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 whatever.
I think I've seen this study. Go on.
Yes. Okay. Maybe you have. But you keep brushing for 20 years, let's say normally, whatever, right? And then I come out saying that if you brush with your left hand, your mood will actually drastically improve. You'd be like, what? How? And they try it once, like, yo, low key, this kind of does work. But the thing is, they can't incorporate that into their routine because it's a habit that you just said. It's hard to break, you know?
And I think a big part of it is trust as well. Like, modern medicine doctors, yeah, they have their PhD, they've went to school for whoever knows how long. So it's a lot easier to trust them and a little easier to drop $500, $1,000 on medicine, right?
It's easier to trust them, is what you're saying.
Yes, it's easier to trust them. Now, on the flip side, it's a lot harder to trust someone without educational backing. Yes, regardless of how true it is.
Yeah,
Right?
no, for sure.
And with such a vast amount of information out there on health literacy, with such a vast amount of information out there on health literacy, I can see where the struggle may arise from being able to trust certain points in health opposed to just blindly trusting a professional doctor, right?
Comes down to different healthcare models. Oh, like you got written right here.
Right here, yes.
The camera can't see, but we wrote up modern medicine versus preventive medicine. Now, modern medicine is kind of like another word for reactive medicine. And let's take this for example. You feel something going wrong, you go see doc. Doc says, "Let me test you for a couple of things." Doc says, "You might got this." So they react with it by giving you antibiotics, pills, surgeries,
And that's
whatever,
already after effects have taken place.
after effects have taken. Then you kind of sort down to preventative medicine, where it's like, let's say we've practiced these healthy habits that we talked about earlier: sleep, food quality that we eat, how much time we spend on screens, how often we do these things.
A little goes a long way.
Exactly. So I'm saying that, like, let's say the person who gets 4 hours of sleep every day for the past 5 years of their life, obviously after those 5 years, they're going to have some type of doctor visit, and it's going to be quite expensive. And it's going to happen for a year. Month in and month out, they're going to be constantly in the doctors.
Imagine the mental and physical toll on that patient.
Exactly. And they got to go to work on top of that. What happens if you could have prevented that? That, I feel like, is so huge, and what is missing is the fact that there's reactive. Now, obviously, diseases can happen, and there's definitely some ways that we cannot prevent them. But I think if we build a very strong support system and help guide people to implement healthier habits, then maybe
And it's hard to trust preventative medicine because of how common overnight fixes are.
well, I mean, if you put your phone down for a few hours, like, what is that going to do to affect your life? What is 10 minutes of scrolling going to do? Or what is a
Right.
couple hours of scrolling going to do in the long run, right? I mean, especially when you're young and you got time to waste, you got time to make risks and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people just go out and then they just don't give a fuck about their body, to be honest. And I mean, that's totally fine. Live that way. That is who you are. But at the same time, you do that for long enough and you're kind of just chasing dopamine, whether it's with drinking, going out with friends, whether it's on the phone, whether it's actually just hanging out with friends in general. You're just constantly trying to chase some form of dopamine. But let's say we're trying to chase maybe a healthier side of dopamine, and that could be reading a book, going outside, getting some sun. Getting sun is some dopamine out right there. So I think if we chase good dopamine instead of bad dopamine, healthier and health, we start implementing healthier habits, then we can start preventing a lot of these trips to the doctor.
100% I agree.